Have you ever listened to a woman speak and you can understand the words she's saying, but still, she makes no sense at all? It could be that she's speaking Womanese. Now, Womanese is a tough language and a fascinating culture. And in this video, we're going to watch this clip of this woman speaking Womanese, and I'm going to act as translator.
Okay, it's time for girl talk.
First off, I need to quickly explain this Womanese concept of girl talk. It's a special type of conversation that women use so that they can be liberated from patriarchal concepts of logic and consistency. But the most important thing that you need to know about girl talk is that judgment is not allowed. It's a safe space for women to have superficial values, to make terrible choices, to overall just be a really shallow person, but that's all okay when it happens in girl talk. The reason why girl talk is such an integral part of Womanese culture is because when speaking in mixed company, women found it was too much pressure, it was unfair, it was restrictive. They had to pretend to care about being a woman of depth and character. But in girl talk, they can just drop the pretense, be real, be superficial, and no judgment is allowed. It's very liberating. So let's find out why we're having girl talk. What has this woman done that she doesn't want to be judged for?
So, I just got back from going on one date with this guy who was very golden retriever vibes. And I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but it's just so nice, so kind. Like, I know if I dated him, he would never break my heart. And tell me why I'm just not into that.
Like so many of her Womanese counterparts, she's not into men who are kind, who are nice, who wouldn't break her heart. In our culture, that might seem bizarre, but in the Womanese culture, they crave men who are rude, who are mean, who would break your heart. That's a man who's really attractive, and that's who she's into.
Oh my gosh. Like, I'm not lying, guys, when I tell you that I know that if I decided to give this man my whole entire heart, I would never have to worry about anything.
If she was to give her whole heart to this man, she would never need to worry about anything. This one definitely needs translating from Womanese to English. Now, for people of our culture, it might not make sense when a woman is speaking with such romantic tones, painting a picture of a life of ultimate fulfillment with a man, describing the pinnacle of her relationship with him as being her not needing to worry about anything. In our culture, that might seem strange. You think, how can that possibly be the pinnacle of human bonding? Why not talk about the love that you feel, the respect that you have, the mutual achievements, the character development, the memories you'll create, the children you have, the struggles you overcome? Isn't that the ultimate romantic fulfillment for a woman? No, not in the Womanese culture. For those women, the most amazing thing that you can imagine about being in a relationship with a man is that you'll never have to worry about anything again. You'll never need to do anything. You'll never need to achieve anything. You'll never need to solve any problems or struggle in any way. That is the dream. In Womanese culture, the man who unquestioningly indulges her laziness is the pinnacle of the ideal man. He is a true romantic hero, and that is what a healthy relationship looks like.
But I left that date feeling like it's not enough.
Why wouldn't that be enough? Well, scientists have actually studied the genetic makeup of women in the Womanese culture and found that at the biological level, they're incapable of being satisfied. So scientifically speaking, it will never be enough. But of course, culturally speaking, it's still a man's duty to try.
And I was a little bored, and it was supposed to be a dinner date. But the second I walked in there, like, the conversation wasn't great. We just weren't hitting it off. And I was like, I'm not even going to try to have dinner because that'll extend this longer than I want it to go. So, yeah, had a couple of drinks and left.
Now, in our culture, we might encourage a woman to refrain from making a judgment about a man based on the first few seconds of interacting with him. We might also encourage her to make some effort to make the evening entertaining and enjoyable for both of them. But in Womanese culture, dates are not considered to be a mutual conversation of equals, with both parties having responsibility to be good company for the other. No, in Womanese culture, there is the understanding that women are perfect, and it is always the man's role to entertain the woman. Thus, if she is bored, then the only possible explanation is not that she herself is a boring person, but that the man failed in his duties.
And now I have a date with this other guy. Completely different vibes. I get player vibes. I get you're pretty, but like, let me put you in your place vibes, which fuck you. But also,
I'm actually glad she brought this up because it gives me the opportunity to give men some tips if they're ever trying to date in the womanese culture. First off, and this is absolutely non-negotiable, you must treat her kindly and show her the utmost respect. This is very important. If you listen to women speaking womanese, you'll hear that this is what they want. But also, you need to be very cocky and put women in their place, because if you study female behavior in this culture, you'll see that that's the kind of energy that they gravitate towards. They may be offended and say fuck you, but they also are attracted to it. So if you want to date one of these women, you need to be very deferential and also show that you're the boss. Now, admittedly, at the time of recording this, there hasn't yet been a man who has figured out how to be kind and respectful while also giving off player vibes and putting a woman in her place. But still, if you want to date a woman of this culture, then that is the task ahead of you, to figure out how to do that. There really is no other option for you, because women in the womanese culture have been polled about this. When asked if they'd be willing to make some effort to resolve this contradiction and have their actions match their words, they gave these responses. 1% of women said yes, women should make an effort to change. 2% said yes in special circumstances. And a whopping 97% said, fuck you, I'm a woman, I'm perfect, you figure it out.
There's something wrong with me.
She laughs because of how ironic that statement is. Being of the womanese culture, she knows that there's nothing wrong with her. She's a woman, she's perfect. The very idea that there could be something wrong with her, that's funny.
But I'm actually really excited for this date because I know I'm going to have fun. Like, you know when you just have banter with someone and you know without a doubt in your mind that you're going to have fun? That's going to be this date.
In womanese culture, having fun is the top priority. Of course, that's different from our culture, where for a woman of this age, we would encourage her to use dating to try and find a good man, somebody who she can commit to, have children, because her fertile years are fading. She needs to take dating seriously. But in womanese culture, they don't really value commitment and children in the same way that our culture does. That's not the point of dating. They value fun in their youth and victimhood in their old age. Because in the womanese culture, what's more fulfilling than having a devoted husband and happy children is being a victim and complaining about the fact that you don't have those things. So through that lens, it makes complete sense why she's so excited for this date with this cocky player guy, because even though it's not moving her any closer to commitment and children, that's not the point of dating. She's going to have some fun. That is the top priority, even at her age.
You know how like you find all those TikToks and people talk about love differently, and how some people are like, you need to find that love that just like brings you ultimate peace and it's like almost boring. Is that for real? Is that for real? Because I'm doing this all wrong. And that just doesn't necessarily really appeal to me. I don't know. Like, who said that?
There's your answer. It doesn't appeal to her, and in womanese culture, that's enough. Now, in our culture, we might encourage her to listen to the wisdom of others who say that love doesn't need to be fun or filled with drama. It can be peaceful and boring and still be very fulfilling. In our culture, we might even encourage her to do some self-reflection, to ask the question, what is wrong with me, and seriously reflect upon the answer, not just laugh about it. With your fertility years quickly fading, you might want to reconsider your value system that says that nice men who treat you well are boring and it's more important to have fun with player guys who treat you badly. But that's our perspective, and it's culturally insensitive to assume that our way of doing things is superior to the womanese culture. In their culture, the suggestion that a woman should adjust her expectations to better reflect reality is incredibly sexist. She is perfect, all women are perfect, and if something doesn't appeal to her, then that's the end of the discussion. I hope that this video has helped you understand more about the womanese culture. I understand it's a difficult language to learn. If you'd like to look at some of my other translations from womanese to English, you're welcome to click on the links in the description box below. Now, if this woman was to stop speaking womanese and come over to our culture and speak our language, what would my advice be to her? How should she have handled the date with the boring man, and what should she adjust her values to be? I go into all the details of that in the full-length version of this video, which is available on my Patreon. What you're seeing here on YouTube is just an abridged, shortened version. If you'd like to see the full video, then please head over to Patreon.